welcome back to another TSTerra Plays Terra video. So in today's video, I am going to go over Tera Console's 126.01 update. Now, I do apologize, I got this update out a bit later than the actual release. So with that though, I am going to do covering like the patch notes as we see them, in case you guys haven't had a chance to read them, my opinions, and also show the stuff in game as it's already been updated. So we are going to go over this. Again, I do apologize that I haven't gotten most content out. I've been really busy with my new job. And one thing before we get into the patch notes that I do want to point out, yeah, a bunch of maintenance extension stuff. I do want to point out this dungeon content survey. For anyone who hasn't taken this survey, I highly recommend doing your best to take it. It is a bit of a pain, at least when I did it on my phone. I think this is good that the devs are trying to communicate with us. I hope this just isn't some BS method of communication. I will say I did fill the survey out, and I made very huge points of open your communication lines. If anything, please talk to me again, talk to the community. Even if you don't want to talk to many people, at least try to talk to the content creators so we can help get messages out to the public, since they're not doing it. But I digress. If you haven't done it, check it out. It's actually pretty nice that they're doing something like that. Hopefully they consider doing more of that and actually talking to the community instead of being lazy. But yeah, the patch notes. A bunch of stuff about the battle pass. Patch notes will be linked. You can read it if you want specifics. But as always, the battle pass is pretty decent if you got the gold to buy one off the trade broker or don't mind spending the money. There was something in it. The fluorite piece, or the fluor fragment piece ore box. This could be pretty useful. Cosmetics, bracelet if people still need that. Divine power, enhancement material for suppressed divine bracelet. I don't know if this means we have a new bracelet. I don't have the highest ranking bracelet, so this might actually state that there is a new one. When we get into the game, I'll show that off. We'll see. Maybe that's just, you know, a godstone and they worded it wrong. Stigma coins as usual. Again, down here, the usual battle pass stuff. This is saying what the plus gives you is a battle pass, extra rune tickets, a level 30 bump card XP. This is very useful out of the battle pass. Elite gold. Again, these divine power stones. I'm assuming, again, either they made a new bracelet. Face etchings, legendary stigma option change stones, and the highest tier grading book. Dungeons. Chandra Manaya. Basically, I believe Immortal is the lower one, and no, Immortal might be the higher one. I don't know. I apologize. I haven't been around the community. But basically, they're just making her weaker, so she doesn't hit as hard. You can read through the developer notes, but basically, yeah, the Immortal is set at a hardcore difficulty, and to support this, the lower tier difficulty is set very low. So I'm assuming they made the Immortal equally or weakened it a little and then adjusted and made the normal version a lot easier. Additionally, the upper tier dungeon includes extra attack power increase upon mechanics failure. So every time you fail certain mechs, she'll get stronger, and they want to monitor it because in the next update they're going to make it the global leaderboard. So yeah, basically, in a nutshell, they have informed us that Chandra Manaya is going to be the leaderboard dungeon. They have probably nerfed the lower tier version to the ground. Usually that's what they do. Again, I'm not 100% sure. And they buffed the, maybe not buffed, but maybe balanced, in their words, the harder version. So, very common stuff, very simple stuff of what they do. The event dungeon. This is actually something that I want to try to record and throw in these patch notes after I express this. So if the patch notes are cut up a little bit, like not normal style, I do apologize. But the event dungeon, Pit of Conflagration, this is a brand new dungeon. You can only enter it with instance matchmaking, and it's gonna have two phases: defend the Guardian Tower, and then defeat an NPC 3 times accordingly to chosen difficulty. Again, I will try to get into this and show it off. It looks really cool. It looks like a cool concept because it seems like it's gonna be a tower defense type of thing, and you choose what difficulty you want the boss, and depending on the amount of points your team gets will depend on the rewards you get, which is actually really cool. And in the game, I'm gonna kind of show these rewards a bit better. But if you get the highest grade, which is a score of 200,000, you'll get 110 magic crystals, or 120. I guess it depends. It'll be randomized, but everyone in the group should get that. You'll get 1 diamond, emerald, and ruby. And then basically, as it gets weaker score, you get 100, 80, 60, 50 crystals. You can only clear this dungeon once per character. And yeah, the cool thing is the shop that you basically use these crystals to buy from. And again, I'll show this in game where it will make a lot more sense. But you know, obviously, you know, there's a maximum quantity per account, so I'm assuming these crystals will be bankable. If not, you know, the weekly items, so these will reset every week. Card XP 2,000 points. The fact that you can get 6,000 points with just 300 crystals is pretty nice. You could get a bunch of, you know, card chests for, I think it's decently priced depending how hard the content is. And then things that don't reset that you can get once per count: a refined stigma crystal, legendary, refined legendary stigma option stone, a complete stigma crystal legendary. So I'm thinking, again, I kind of want to see it in game, but all of this is decent rewards in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what the stigma fragment pouch is going to give you, but the fact that you can get 40 of them and they only cost 1, if you got everything else, then you do really well. I mean, even if you just clear it, you got all 40 in one run. Again, and this is them showing pictures. I kind of like that they did this picture stuff. Again, this is the refined stigma crystal legendary. I'm thinking this gives you a refined stigma or a legendary refined stigma. Then you got the stat change stones, then the perfect stigma crystal legendary. Again, I'm gonna go in game and show that stuff and we'll have a slightly better idea. They tweaked our ace dungeons, which is our trial dungeons. They fixed an issue where you could not play as Moonlight Warrior and Trial Dungeon Rampaging Hyrule. I don't really understand what they mean by Moonlight Warrior. I don't know. If you guys know, let me know. They changed so that Rumaka in the Trial Dungeon does not use lethal attacks. So I'm guessing they just made it so he can't kill you in a one-shot. And they reduced the overall attack power of the Rogosh and drones in the Trial Dungeon Core Fusion Laboratory. Dungeon reward changes. They've removed Bahar Mask, they remove engravings. Fluorite fragments and ores now drop. That's pretty nice, that fluorite. You know, the stuff to get your event stuff now drops from there. And the enhancement powders and Howling Rage now drops, which is also... There's some stuff in here that I don't really fully understand. But we'll probably get into that. Picture leaderboard, I'm assuming... Spawn method has been changed. Fiction HP could be drastically reduced if specific situations. I'm assuming this is Pitapetrix. Other changes they've done is fixed a bunch of LN outfits that weren't displayed correctly, are now been apparently fixed. And the Rune Liberation Scrolls have now officially been added to the shop. So let's go over to the console, and yeah, we're gonna kind of, like I said, go over this stuff. You know, they said that they put the luxury scrolls or the rune scrolls inside of the luxury shop. I'm pretty sure what they mean is in the specialty merchant. So again, just to clear that up, your Rune Liberation Scrolls are right there. I don't even have Elite, how sad. Battle Pass. What was it we wanted to look for? The gods. The stone. The stone. So you can get fluorite fragments, card XP. God Power Stone. Okay, so that's what it's just a God Power Stone. It's the stone that you use to upgrade the highest tier bracelet. So again, I don't know why they gave it some funky name, other than that's just what the devs like to do. Alright, so we go to Instance Matchmake. You can see just about everything still drops the same. Where is Crucible of Flame? Okay, so Crucible of Flame is the whatever is the event dungeon. So I'm gonna instance matchmake that for why we go over the other stuff. Heart Share Pendant. That's interesting. I don't think that was talked about in the patch notes, so hopefully we get it. I'll be curious to see if this even told 5 out of 5. And yeah, let's just see if that pops. What else do we want to talk about? The High Watch stuffies. High Watch stuffies. We're gonna go into High Watch. There is no Vanguard also for this dungeon. For this event dungeon. It's not meant to have a Vanguard. You cannot enter by yourself. You have to enter with a team. Yeah, as you see, no Vanguard. So do I not? Yeah, okay, I was confused. My bad. Like I said, it's been a very long time since I've played. Here's the event shop. Again, this is not the new shop. This is just the overall event shops that, you know, that's usually in the game that resets. Here is the growth worm. Where is the other one? Oh. So we have Misha, White Magic Crystal, and Leia, White Magic Crystal Exchange Agent. Both of these people right here. This one has all of our cards. So as you see, this one's they probably split it so that they don't have to do the work to reset that one. And refine Stigma Crystal Legendary, any type of Stigma of matching grade. So yeah, this is basically giving you a refined Legendary Stigma. I don't know what the difference between that. Perfect Stigma Crystal? Perfect Stigma Crystal Legendary? I'm guessing they just changed the names of those. So this is your standard yellow. This is your refined. Yeah, they just changed the Stigma Legendary crystals to have that. And then you got your perfect stigmas, and then you got all your stats and the Stigma Shard Pouch. 30 Stigma Shards are granted to be obtained when the pouch is open. You can obtain Stigma Shards at random. There is a low probability of obtaining a large amount of... Basically, this is if you were to ever buy Stigma pouches from the Tera store, you would get them. Do I have any healers online? Huh. My God, I don't know how to spell anymore. Let's see if I can entice a healer to join, because that's all we need. And I think that covers everything but the actual content. So yeah, we'll just sit in queue, and once this is popped, I'll show the run on screen. Right, and that was that. So yeah, it's I say fairly simple. After doing it, you come here, and with that, depending on your score, depends on how many crystals, and I don't understand what the necklace thing is about. It seems that the ruby, diamond, emerald is one of them off chance, so it probably just gives rubies pretty consistently. Content wise, it's kind of boring, as you could probably tell. Bosses seem to die pretty quick. Now I know Pain and I both do a lot of damage, and it is a lower tier dungeon. It seems that you just kill 2 things, fly over, and kill 3 or 4 bosses, or kill until you get enough points. I believe the patch note said 3, so I don't know why we fought 4. Maybe I misread, but yeah, that's the event dungeon. So I guess not the funnest thing to do, honestly. Kind of lame, but the rewards from doing it are pretty good. Yeah, so. But yeah, that's about it. If you all have any questions, feel free to ask. Hopefully I can get some more content out there coming the next couple days, maybe after a week or 2 of me settling in with my new job. Work's been kind of, like I said, a lot of work and tiring. It's easy though, but it is long days, so usually when I get home I'm ready to just pass out. But yeah, that's that. So